Hello everybody, Bea here. Thanks for stopping by. Today I share with you my thank you cards from mixed media paper, watercolors and more. So stay tuned if you want to see an easy and quick way to make batches of cards for any occasion. Mine are gonna be thank you cards, but you can use it also for birthdays, well-being and whatnot. Just change the quote. But back to the table. As I said, I have used a mixed media paper, which I have soaked quite a bit with water. And now I'm just plopping in some watercolors in blue, green, yellow shades as a background. Now that the background is completely dry, I go in with red and orange watercolors. As you can see, I just make some swirly circles all over the page. I'm not thinking too much where I put them. I just make sure that I have spread them all over the page. The more water there is already on the page, the more the watercolor feathers out. So it is up to you how you want it. More water, more feathering out. Less water, the color stays where you put it. To give even more visual texture, I add some coarse salt. The salt gonna soak up the water together with the paint and leave little dots when dry. Whenever you use salt, you have to let it dry naturally. Don't use a heat tool, it wouldn't work. As soon as the page was completely dry, I did wipe off the salt and then cut it to size. I'm gonna use some purple pre-made A5 card bases, so I cut them slightly smaller than at the A5. As a next step, I did use a homemade stamp and StazOn ink to mimic the center of the flower. If you don't have a stamp that would work, just sketch with a black permanent marker. And now I did grab my permanent black marker and did some squiggly lines around the center and then around the whole flowers. As you can see, I don't do only one line, I do always several lines. I also add some sketchy leaves. Just in case you are wondering how I made the lines there at the arrow. Well, I did move the wet paper and the salt grain just slided on the paper, dragging paint with them. I didn't mind it. In fact, I'm thinking about playing with that a bit in a future project, so stay tuned. So in case you are new here, I really appreciate my subbies and would love to have you also over at my blog, where I have a free member area with free printables and sometimes longer version of selected videos. Go check it out. For the moment, I leave you with some music and I will step in whenever I have to explain something. Time for stamping my quote. I did use StazOn ink, which is pretty much my go-to ink when I need something in black. And no, I have no idea which brand this quote comes from, but there are many brands out there with all kinds of quote stamps. I wanted a little pop on the cards. And what is better than some shiny foils? At the same time, I wanted to use up some already partially used foils. So I first start with some colored embossing powder and did stamp with the Versamark embossing ink. Any brand of embossing powders will work as long as it is a fine powder. When you heat up the embossing powder, make sure you have the foil ready. As soon as the powder has melted, you have to apply the foil immediately. And just in case you are new to foils, always pretty side up. I know it's counterintuitive, but it is the way it works. When you work with embossing ink, you are better off applying the powder as quick as possible. But when the powder sticks to the embossing ink, you can put it aside, go on to the next, and then heat set them all at once. And also with the foil, you can always reheat the embossing powders to apply the foil. As you're gonna see, I wasn't quick enough here, so I had to reheat the embossing powder to dry again. To finish the cards, I did add more doodling, again with squiggly sketchy lines. First with the black permanent marker and then with the white Molotow acrylic marker. To tie everything together, I color the edges with black. It just gives that finished look for me. I didn't film how I did glue the flowers to the card base. I think you know how to do that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please give me a thumbs up, comment and share. See you soon!